Welcome to From the Shed End podcast with myself, T.Dot, as always. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to start this. I did say it was going to be a difficult game. I said Everton were going to be up for the game. Poor performance. Massively poor performance from the whole team today. I can't even single out anyone. I thought we were poor. Attacking wise, I thought defensively we were poor. We have to credit Everton. Obviously, first of all, Everton played really well, in my opinion. They just played really well. They were the team that wanted it more. The high press, the intensity. They looked like they were up for the game. So can't really fault them at all. But we just lack in attack. We lack in attack. It's as simple as that. Our movement, our transitions are so slow. It's unbelievable. Like, we are so poor. Like, our transitional movement of the ball is so redundant that it's just poor. It's poor. No shots on target in the first half. Timo Werner, Havertz, Mount, the front three that you would think would be able to do something, did nothing. I'm running out of they're not even excuses, but I'm running out of things to say that this team might be able to do something. You know, this was the moment for me today where we should have made something out of the game should have just happened. I don't know whether it's the fact that I'm saying all this now, literally off the back of the game, that now that I've calmed down, now that I've got my composure a little bit. But there's things in our game, and I said this in the last video, there's things in our game why we do not have the level to compete with Man City, with Liverpool. We can't compete with those kind of teams. We just don't. We don't have the structure. We don't have the team. We don't have the squad depth. We don't have the quality of depth in the team to be able to bring on, you know, a Mahrez or a Grealish or a Diego Jota. We don't have that quality. You know, we've got a £97 million striker sitting on the bench. I mean, if that doesn't tell you something today after that performance with Thomas Tuchel bringing on Hakim Ziyech and Christian Pulisic, when we need a goal, we need to try and get a point out of the game. We're struggling to make something happen. You would think, you know, bringing on Lukaku would be an option. He's still sat there. If that doesn't tell you that we are in serious, and I don't mean just this season, but I mean over the next couple of seasons, if we do not get the transfer, recruitment, all of that stuff right, we are in a lot of trouble. And we'll get left behind. I said it last week, we'll get left behind with Man City and Liverpool going clear ahead of us, and we're going to get left behind, and we're going to struggle, because that game was there for us. That game was there for us, just like Man United, just like West Ham, where we just about got the 1-0. These games are, I mean, we only need 6 or 7 points. And we're struggling against Everton. I don't know. I really don't know what to say. The goal in itself was bound to happen. It was bound to happen. It didn't have to be Aspilicueta. I'm going to get onto him in a minute, but it was bound to happen. If you look at how many times we passed the ball back to Mendy, or we passed the ball across goal, or we're slowing down the pace of the game. Those mistakes were bound to happen. It was bound to happen. It could have been Thiago Silva. It could have been Rudiger. You know, it didn't help that Rudiger got an early card. It didn't help that they got into the faces of Mason Mount and Kai Havertz and rolled them up a little bit and ruffled them up a little bit, because when you do that, it does take the player off the game a little bit. Rudiger had to be careful for the best part of 60, 70 minutes. He can't make another tackle. He can't make another mad challenge. He can't do that. So I don't know. Honestly, I do not know. I don't know where we go from here next season. Not this season. This season's a write-off. Whether we get top 4, FA Cup, all of that stuff. It's next season that I'm thinking about already. How do we get rid of some of these players that we need to get rid of? The players that we've got now, this is a 2-3 season window. We've got 3 seasons to get this right. And at the same time, we have to maintain to be able to compete with Liverpool and Man City. And if we can't compete with them, then what are we playing for? Top four. It's not good enough. It was not good. I mean, to credit Ruben Loftus-Cheek, who I thought had a very good game. I thought he was brilliant in midfield. I thought he was bringing the ball forward. He was trying to make something happen. My only criticism of Ruben Loftus-Cheek, and he had a very good chance, which was so well saved by Jordan Pickford, but my only criticism of Ruben Loftus-Cheek is he holds onto the ball way too much. Way too much. When there's a pass on, Werner makes brilliant runs, Kai Havertz made 1 or 2 brilliant runs, and he doesn't look up, or he makes the wrong pass. And this is that decision making which Thomas Tuchel keeps saying, he has to be more aggressive, he has to be more ruthless, and he's not doing it. He doesn't do it enough. So I think that's my only criticism. But with Azpilicueta, look, I said 2 or 3 weeks ago, for me, Azpilicueta is a player who, for me, for me personally, Azpilicueta is someone who should not be starting big games. And yes, Everton, who were up for the game, who needed 3 points, today was a big game. Regardless of whether we want to say it was Everton who were bottom 3, it's a big game. We haven't got the best of records there. His legs are gone. His legs are gone. So I personally, for me, maybe we need to start thinking about, I said it on the last video that I did, we need to start thinking about the defensive issues that we might face next season if we do lose, Christensen, who looks like he's going, as well as Rudiger, who's almost confirmed is going. Thiago Silva's 37. We've got Alonso, who looks like he might also be going to Barca as well. So there's a lot of things we need to consider at the back at the moment. And that at the moment, that doesn't even bother me. At the moment, it's our attackers. We have a £97 million striker sitting on the bench in a game where we need a goal, and he's not the answer. He's not the guy that's coming on. I don't blame Lukaku for that, and I don't blame Thomas Tuchel. Clearly, something hasn't happened, hasn't gone right, and has happened over the last couple of months. Why there's this massive gap between manager and player. And it's now impacting the team. It's impacting how Thomas Tuchel potentially would like to line up his team. Something's gone wrong. And for me, his time, his time is over at Chelsea. I don't want to see him in any capacity in Chelsea unless he can pull off something miraculous in the next couple of games, win us the FA Cup, and have a brilliant preseason. His time's done at the club now, and it's time as fans. I think we have to start being honest about some of the players that we have at the club who have been brilliant servants, Azpilicueta being one of them. He's been a brilliant servant. I don't want to see him leave the club, but do I want to see him start in games where he's almost on the back foot? And I don't want to single him out. But even a Christian Pulisic, Hakim Ziyech, these players are not the quality we're going to need to push for that league this season, next season, season after that. They're not the players. They're not the level of players that we need to go and win a Champions League. Yes, we've done it with them. Yes, we won it with these players. But are we honestly going to say that these players are going to be the players that can consistently do this season after season after season? There's a possibility Thomas Tuchel might walk or might not renew his contract at the club. The way we're going at the moment, this is not just me being reactionary, me trying to, get views or clicks. I honestly think Thomas Tuchel would consider his future, especially if we miss out on top 4, which is now an option. There's no guarantee we're getting top 4 now. Man United were there for the taking. Everton, yes, I said on the last video, Everton is going to be a massive game because they were not going to go down, especially after the Burnley result yesterday. They were not going to go down without a fight. And today they proved that they are willing to take on anyone who comes to Goodison. They're willing to do that. But we were poor. We were absolutely really poor, to the point where there was just nothing happening in the front three. The front three were just... I mean, the most action I think Mason Mount done was push over Yeremina or Decore. I can't remember who it was, but he pushed someone over. That's the most I think he did. It isn't good enough. It is not good enough. I'm coming on here more so than not to talk about poor performances, lack of clean sheets. Thomas Tuchel said after the game, it wasn't the fact that we didn't score, it's the fact we didn't keep a clean sheet. I mean, I hear what he's saying, but at the end of the day, the ultimate goal of football is to score goals. It was a poor performance for me, and I can't back some of these players anymore, because Lukaku should be in that team. He's not in the team because he's not scoring, so that tells me he's got to go. You look at that front three now, and I said on the last video, some of these players play like they're still new to the system, like they're still new to the club. We talk about them like they've just signed a couple of months ago. They've been here for long enough to be able to put in a decent performance. Maybe we don't win the game, but at least try and score. Pickford today, we have to credit Jordan Pickford. He was, for me, man of the match. He made some brilliant saves from Rudiger. There was Azpilicueta as well. Brilliant saves. Took one for the team in the face. Brilliant from Jordan Pickford. He turned up when it needs to turn up, and that's what it's all about. But this is poor football. Wolves next. We have to beat Wolves. We have to beat Wolves. We can't rely on the North London derby as our way into the Champions League and hoping that one of those two teams drop points, because it's all well and good we do that, but there's still games after that. We still have the FA Cup to think about. There's too much football for us to be reliant. We don't want to be relying on other teams like we did last season. It's in our hands still at the moment, but it could very easily slip out of our hands and go into Arsenal's hands or Tottenham's hands, and we're the ones fighting for top four. We shouldn't even be in this position. It's poor. It was poor. It was another poor performance. Not to say that anyone played bad or at all, but it was just collectively, it was a poor performance. And yes, Everton were there for the fight. They wanted to get in our faces and make the game difficult. They isolated Mason Mount to an extent as well. But with Chelsea, we should be able to deal with that. If you're champions of the world, which is what we were saying we were a few months ago, then we should be able to deal with Everton. Regardless of how they set up with five at the back, we should be able to deal with Everton. We shouldn't be losing 1-0 to Everton. Yes, we've got a poor record, but there's our attack, our movement, the pace of the ball, the transitions. We were making brilliant runs. We do the easy part well, and even making the passes easy sometimes, but we're just not doing it quick enough. We're not doing it quick enough. And then we're passing it sideways again, passing it back to Mendy. It was working in Everton's favour. Everton were happy to sit back and allow us to do that for 90 minutes, because they knew that if we weren't going to attack them, then all they had to do was defend. And they've done that really, really well today. So we have to, again, credit Everton for that. But this has been happening too long now. This has been happening too long. Last couple of games, you think back to when we got knocked out of the Champions League. These are the performances we've been putting in. So, in my opinion, we need to have a long look at ourselves as a club before we play Wolves, because something has to give. We have to perform a lot better, and if we don't, then I honestly do think we have to start questioning not Thomas Tuchel, but 100% some of these players and their commitment to this club, because whatever's happening behind closed doors cannot affect these players. It cannot affect the players. The players have a job to do. They've got to go out there. They've got to do that. But we can't be going into these games now. Every game for me now is a cup final. Forget Liverpool. Forget the actual FA Cup final. Every game is a cup final until we're mathematically safe and we've got our top three, or we're in third position or whatever, or we even secure top four. Every game's a cup final. Every game is a cup final, and if we don't make the Champions League this season, then it says a lot about our season. It says a lot about the team. It questions Thomas Tuchel to an extent, but a lot of it has to go down to these players, because they're just playing bad. They're playing bad. And again, I don't want to single out Lukaku, but for £97 million, you're sat on the bench. When we're needing a goal, you are sat on the bench. If that doesn't tell you everything we need to know about Lukaku and his performances and why he's potentially not even in the team, he's not even being thought of by Thomas Tuchel to come on when we need a goal. I've got nothing else to say on the matter. But before I go, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you smash the like button. Let me know your thoughts in the comments as well about the performance. What did you think of it? Am I being too critical? Let me know in the comments. But as always, this has been T.Dot from the Shed End. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time, stay safe.